Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, guys, and welcome to another video of the Diamond Trading. My name is Daniel, and today we're doing an update on Nokia. Now, not so long ago, I done a video on Nokia, but today's video is a video that's going to sum up pretty much the top 10 reasons why I'm invested in Nokia. There's more reasons than 10, but these are the top 10 reasons. And at the end of the video, I'll go and have a look at what my price prediction is for Nokia at the end of 2023. And I can say it's looking very promising indeed. So let's go through the top 10 reasons. There's no particular order. There's no priority of one or the other. Having said that, the first one is probably the main reason, and the reason why I say that is the main reason because this is the foundation for the company, and this is the management. Now, the management to me is key. Nokia has undertaken a lot of ups and downs in the last years, 5 to 10 years. So it's normal that a lot of people that used to invest in Nokia do not have a lot of conviction, and it's understandable to a certain point. But this guy here, which is Pekka Lundmark, he is the president and the chief executive officer of Nokia. He has been since August 2020, and this is really the guy that's really holding the steering wheel and really guiding this company to where it should be going. The model has changed a lot. He's come in, he's changed the model of Nokia, and in the short term time he's been there, so he's not even been there for 2 years, he's really taking the company towards the direction it should be going. So this is one of the reasons management. So always when we're looking at numbers and when we're looking at news, it's important to know the team that's behind the company you're investing in is key, is crucial. So going through to see what experience the company has, what the management team have to offer, which direction they're going at, a sort of a roadmap, right, to see where the futures can go. And this guy here is really a guy that's really doing that. Okay, so he has with almost 20 years as a chief executive officer, Pekka has accrued deep expertise in the telecommunications, technology, energy, machinery, and finance sectors, all of which are central to the transition into the fourth industrial revolution. Okay, so as I mentioned, he was appointed as the CEO on the 1st of August 2020. So he gives a lot of confidence to the investor. Some would disagree with that, and I say disagree with that because I've seen a lot of comments regarding dividends. But we'll have a look at that in a minute. But yeah, so this is the main reason, and I'm not going to go into more details of Peter. So you can actually go into this website, Nokia's website, and you can see his full resume with his history of where he's worked before. So here we go. So there we are. So I won't go through that, but you can have a look at that on the Nokia website. So that's the first reason, management. Management is the top reason for me. Now the rest, like I said, are no particular order. So let's go into the second one, which is dividends. Now dividends, restated dividend. That to me, an investor is good. I like to have dividends. Having said that, I'll be very honest with you, I would not like to see dividends anytime soon. And the reason why I say that is I'd like to see the company grow forward, becoming profitable, and then returning dividends. I prefer them to reinvest that money back into the company and research and development and building out the company even further before actually giving dividends. Having said that, there's something that I would like to see in the future, but I prefer it not be in the near future. Some will disagree with that. That's fair enough. If there is a dividend, I would imagine be a very low dividend, around about 2%. They did have dividends in the past. They took that away in 2019, 2020, I believe it was. But there's a probability that they will reinstate dividends. So if you have actually go into Nokia's website, they've mentioned here that the Nokia's board of directors do not propose a dividend or dividend authorization for the financial year of 2020. Having said that, after the fourth quarter of 2021, the board will assess the possibility of proposing a dividend distribution for the financial year of 2021 based on the dividend policy. So whether they will introduce this or not this year for a retroactive year, we will see. As I mentioned, if they bring it in, fine, I'll accept it. And if they don't, and they put it further down the line, that to me is better. There are some rumors. I haven't actually officially seen it, but there is maybe a possibility of buyback shares, which will be very good for the investor. That'd be very interesting. But yeah, we'll see what happens. The next news, which will be on the 3rd of February, Thursday, 3rd of February, which will be giving the results for the fourth quarter and the 2021 year results. Okay, so yeah, so dividend. So for me as an investor, that's good, promising for the future. Third one, outperforming the market. They have outperformed the market, even though the market has taken a hit since last year. So probably near enough about a year ago. So it'd be February. A lot of companies, good value companies, have had a hit. Mainly growth companies, but value stocks rather have taken a hit. And this is a company that's really, really, taken the battle and gone ahead, and we've had some gains. We've had some really good gains, 50% plus, near to 60% to the year. So around about a year, yeah, I bought it around about a year ago, over a year ago. Have around about 56, 57% return. So at the time of recording, I'm not sure, probably a little bit higher, but yeah, so 50 plus percent. And recently we've seen company stocks being battered again recently, and they still managed to outperform the market. Okay, so which is great. So good. It's not the main reason, but it gives you a sort of confidence in the company that they can sustain good resilience against the bearish market we're having. Now the next one is revenue. Now we have increase in revenue, which is key to see as we're moving forward. We have had a bit of a drop in 2020, and as you can see, 2021, which is the year, we're having steady increases quarter over quarter, always beating expectation, which is good. And if you start to have a look at the analyst forecast, so here we have a revenue around about 22.3 billion, and then in prediction analysis forecasts are around about 23.6 billion. Now we'll see how that plays out in the future. Like I said, it's not a very steep curve, but it's a steady curve, which is what we want to see, right? Continuous revenue increase, quarter over quarter, year over year, and again, this is what we want to be looking at a company, is increase in revenue, right? Now, the next reason is not a main reason, but it gives you some sort of confidence, and that's a strong buy consensus. Okay, so if we have a look at the institutional investors, we have a look at Nokia, for example. Morgan Stanley, for example. Most recently, last month, they moved their price target to $7.50, which again is good. And if you go in and have a look, you'll see that institutional investors have been buying. Okay, normally if you have institutional investors are selling, it's normally a concern, but and it's actually more difficult to read, right? But when you have institutional investors buying, this sort of gives you sort of a reinsurance. It's not a reason, I must say, but it does give you a reassurance, a bit of a guidance to see what the professionals think of a company. So yeah, so they've had a look. If you have a look just most recently, well, last year, the end of last year, Morgan Stanley reports 5.71% increase in ownership of Nokia. So they've actually just increased their shares not so long ago, and now they have around about $21 million worth of shares. Okay, so that's just one of many, guys. Okay, we're not going to go through all the institutional investors, but you can have a look on Google, and you'll find that there's a lot of institutional investors that have taken part in buying shares in Nokia. Now there are potential for more buyers, and I think the reason, and I think I've mentioned this in my video before, one of the main reasons why there's not more on board is the uncertainty and the fact that the company is not profitable yet. Okay, so I see the company being profitable at the end of this year or the beginning of the next year. Hopefully, if it happens beforehand, yeah, even better. But when we start to see profits in the company, we could see really a lot more investors coming on board to invest in Nokia. So that's the reason why they don't have a PE ratio, because they're not yet profitable. And again, this for a lot of investors, they've looked at the past of Nokia, and if you look at the past, it is quite painful, but we really need to be looking at the future, and this is what we're doing with Nokia. With this sleeping giant. So dominating, they're slowly dominating. They have continuous contracts in the 5G market in China, India, Taiwan, and other Western countries, and it just keeps on coming out. I mean, if you have a look at the news here, guys, every 2 weeks, at least twice a month, they are obtaining more partnerships with more companies around the world, and we can just have a look. If we go into Yahoo Finance, you can look at a lot of their what they're capturing. So they've just clinched a Baltic deal, that which was not so long ago. Okay, so yeah, if you go through, you'll see a lot, and I've mentioned this in my past videos. I'm not going to go through all the contracts they have, but they do have a lot of contracts. Nokia extends their Tele 2 deal and more. So yeah, so there's a lot happening. They have around about over 270 partnerships, I believe. 270 partnerships. A lot of what we've seen in the forecast for revenue forecast, this has not been calculated or inputted. So I could imagine that we have an increase of revenue of what is expected, which is good for the company in terms of price moving forward. So yeah. Now, in terms of research, while they're growing their margins, okay, they have continuous growing margins. They're also increasing in spending money on research and development. So in 2020, Nokia spent 4.09 billion euros on research and development, which is a decrease of 440 million euros from the year before. And I imagine this year, we don't have the numbers yet, but I think this year they would have spent quite a lot more as well. So we'll see that in the numbers on the 3rd of February. So this is promising. There's spend a lot of money on research and development, which is really, really, which is good, looking into the future, right? It's also a company which I look at as being a high reward, low risk. And the reason why I say that, if the worst comes to the worst, if there was a drop, there would be a drop down to around about $4, which is a 50% down, 50% down mark from where we are, compared to the future, which is more than 50%, 100% in the next 2 years. Okay, so the risk to reward is really quite, which is really quite good, the ratio. Okay, so if you calculate that, if we have a look at the price target, which I have, which I'll mention to the video, which is around about $9.50, $10, where you can see and do the calculations yourself, you really have a good reward there on the positive side, compared to, if anything happens, could go down to $4, which would be a 50% loss. So 100% plus reward and a 50% loss. So I look at those when I'm investing in companies to see if I'm buying at the high or buying low. You need to be looking at numbers as well. Now, the ninth reason for investing in Nokia is really looking ahead to the future. When I'm talking about looking ahead to the future, I'm talking about another 8 years' time. Between each G, so we're in the 5G phase at the moment, so depending on which zone in the world you're in, you probably have 5G in your mobile, right? Wireless 5G. 6G is the future. 6G is going to be actually really, really quite a big change compared to the 4, 5G that we have. And 6G is going to be, for Nokia, they're going to be the leaders. Okay, so Nokia is to lead the EU's 6G project Hexa-X, which is, if we're 2 years into 5G, we've got another 8 years. So around about 2030 is when 6G will start to hit out. By that time, Nokia will have done enough research and development to actually lead this project. So they are actually currently the project leaders for XX, which is the European Commission's 6G flagship initiative for research into the next generation of wireless networks. So we're talking about connecting human, physical, digital worlds with a fabric of 6G technology enablers. So we can go further ahead and start to think about metaverse. So those of you know a little bit about metaverse, this could be they could be key players in the metaverse industry. So yeah, really big here and really promising. So a lot of people don't talk about the 6G, but 6G, remember, to Nokia, it's really important. It's a real good plus point. Far away, but we'll be around the corner before you know it. Now let's have a look at the last point. One of the last points that I've noted down, the reason for investing is their well-diverse business model. Okay, so they have an entrenched position in high growth, high innovation space. So they have their mobile networks. Okay, they have the network in infrastructure for such as networks, optical networks, fixed networks. They have cloud and network services. Okay, so they focus on creating value for both service providers and enterprise customers as demand for critical network accelerates, leading the transition to cloud native software and X as a service delivery model. Okay, and then they have their technologies, which is their licensing revenue. Now they don't actually make mobiles anymore. There's a company that makes the mobiles, and what they do is they give them a licensing fee. So every mobile they sell, Nokia takes a fee of that. It doesn't make up for a big part of their revenue, but it's still worth noting. That's interesting and important as well. So those are the well diverse. So you really, to me, you're investing yourself in four companies really, because under Nokia they have these four subcategories, which gives them a real nice diversified company. So guys, yeah, so that's the 10 reasons, the top 10 reasons why. Remember, on the 3rd of February will be the time they announce the results, so we would see in the next 3 weeks how the numbers play out. Let's go into the last bit of news. This is actually coming in the time of recording, which is interesting, and this is to say that Nokia expects to exceed 2021 financial guidance and provides operating margin guidance for 2022. Okay, so if we have a look at their preliminary result for 2021, it shows that they have net sales of approximately 22.2 billion. Okay, with its previous guidance of around about 21.7 billion to 22.7 billion. So, okay, so they're in the middle there. A lot of institutional investors reckoned it was around about 22 billion, so they've actually 0.2 billion on top. So we could see some nice an increase on the price depending on how the market reacts between now and 3rd of February. Especially on the 3rd of February, there will be an interesting point to look at. And their comparable operating margin of 12.4% to 12.6% above its previous guidance of 10 to 12%. Okay, so good. So yeah, so everything's looking good, guys. It's really, really interesting. Let's go and have a look at pricing. Now, pricing, I've gave a little bit of a giveaway early on in the video, but pricing to me is looking good. Pricing at the moment, we do have an uptrend. We do have an upward trend, and I think between now and the end of the year, so we're in 2022, end of 2022, I see a price range between $9.50 and $12. So $12 being quite optimistic, and $9.50 being quite cautious. So I would give a buy a prediction around about $10.50. So if you look at where the current price is at the moment at the time of recording, so it's $6.22, figure that out. Okay, so we do have nice and up, and that's just within the year. I really see this happening. So at least a good 60% increase we should see again on this year moving forward. So yeah, so that's my price prediction. So let's hope I'm right. If we do see a drawback, on these levels, I'm looking at around about the $5.80. Okay, so the $5.80 would be another way for me to dollar cost. So I bought below $4. So I would like to take advantage of some more at $5.80. We're really sat at a real good position at the moment, and we'll see how that plays out. If it drops down slightly to $5.80, I'll buy more. And if we do see an increase on the upside, then I'll probably hold my position as I am. But yeah, so really looking promising for the future, guys. That's my outlook, top 10 reasons, and my price prediction for this year. Hope you've enjoyed the video, guys. If you have, make sure you hit that like button. That really helps my channel grow. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and leave some comments down below, guys, in the comments. Do you have Nokia in your portfolio? Are you interested in Nokia? Give me some comments down below. I'd love to hear from you, and I always make sure I answer back to all the comments that are given in the down below. So guys, thanks for watching. Have a great day and speak to you soon. Bye bye now.